Yo, Mark Chucker, what's a good word on a Thursday evening, 2 nights after the election? What's a good word out there in the great state of Tennessee?
Well, I'm gonna say it like how my folks in Philly do. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of an understatement, and which seems to be the theme of this election cycle. And I know a lot of folks out there, they're not buying into any of that, and that's fine. That's your right to do that. We're going to lay out a few things for you guys, so it'll start to make sense. I know it's going to be tough to creep into the brainwashed head, but we're at least going to talk about some stuff. But before we get to anything else, my voice is cracked, which means I'm growing. That's awesome. What do you think about that? We're going to go to our best buddy, and we all know and love him. It's Congressman Jerry Nadler. Jerry, where are you?
Proud to join my colleagues in introducing the Protecting Our Democracy Act so that we may restore these and other checks and balances that are so fundamental to our democracy.
As I bring on Congresswoman Maloney, I want to join the distinguished chairman in acknowledging legislation of other members of Congress that are contained in the chairman's legislation that they are putting forth, and chairwoman's. And I also want to acknowledge Maxine Waters is doing some very important work on this subject, not part of this package, but part of preserving our democracy. With that, I'm pleased to yield to the distinguished chairwoman of the Government Reform and Oversight Committee.
Man, you know what? You gotta love that, Jerry. That's our buddy. We played that the last few episodes. Jerry, you know what? Again, sometimes that happens. You shart in a situation where you don't want to because you're not at home. At least if you're at home, you can take care of your business there. But if you're out and about in public, and especially if you're on live television, that makes it difficult. Chuck, what say you about sharting in public?
You just gotta jump out the plane and bail, man. Get on out of there, man.
Have you done it before?
I don't recall, but I'm sure I have, probably when I was drunk before. I'm sure that's happened. You drinking, you eat some bullshit, and
You don't recall if you've sharted in public before. I call bullshit on that.
I don't think I have.
You don't think you have?
No.
We're gonna call up one of your buddies from Philly and ask them if that's a true statement.
Well, we can't believe them right now. Hey,
that'll be the next podcast. We're going to do an investigation on whether or not Chuck crapped his pants in public, and we're going to bring on one of his buddies from back home.
Hey, so speaking of Philly,
yep.
How do one become a person who counts the votes? That is a question that I always had.
Did you see the image? And it was sent to my phone, and half the stuff that's sent to your phone, especially if it's like via Facebook Messenger, I can't get it on the computer, so it's tough to share, and you're not going to be able to find it on Google because they suppress everything, right? And if you go to DuckDuckGo, sometimes they have stuff, sometimes they don't. But there's that image going around on the internet with the counters, the ballot counters wearing their Biden face masks.
Are you serious?
Can you be? Yes, I'm totally serious. Can you be that deliberate? I'll have to find it.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what? I want to get into that in just a second. And everyone, if you're taking a break from watching all the election BS and what's transpired over the last couple of days, has never happened in the history of this country, and I hope it never does again. But we're going to dive deeper into that. Chuck, one of the things I wanted to get your thoughts on, because Oregon, they decriminalized small amounts of quote unquote hardcore drugs. So your meth, your heroin, your cocaine.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
What are your thoughts on that? And if you want to share your background a little bit, some people do, some people don't. But I'm really curious to see what what you think about that, especially how you grew up.
Well, I'm just, I'm interested of the reason why. Are they trying to keep nonviolent criminals out of prison, keep the population down? Now that I could definitely understand, because there's a lot of drug addicts that are nonviolent, and like, do they really belong in jail? Do you send them in rehab? So I could see that. Also, damn, meth fucks you up, man. These drugs fucks you up. So you just take it off of them, and what do you do? So I think
someone who has experience.
Sure. Yeah, family members that's done drugs.
Yeah, and I wasn't saying you, but yes, family members, and how that impacted your childhood. Because there's
just sprinkle some crack on there, they'd be all right,
Okay.
Yeah, so my mother, who struggled, she was never violent. She just needed the next hit. So she'll leave two little ass kids at home by herself if you're at home, because if you're looking to get high, your life is in shambles, jumping from place to place, living in shelters, your life's in shambles, man. Like you can't keep anything together. So if you on crack, cocaine, meth, heroin, your life's in shambles. So that's definitely interesting. I think what my thing is, if they get pulled over, the police stop them, what are they doing? They're not arresting them, they just put them, like, what are they doing as the alternative? They're just taking the drugs away. That's my question to it.
So so essentially they decriminalized it. So small amounts, right? Here's a quote, and I got this from, is it the Washington Post? I'll have to look. Or the Guardian. I think it was the Guardian. Hubert Matthews of Oregon. This is his quote. I had to take a hard look at myself and say, I'm 47 years old and I don't have anything going. I'm not a kingpin. I don't have a job. I'm just a dope fiend, Matthews said. I was getting arrested a lot for possession and little stuff over and over again, to where my criminal record caused me not to be able to get a job, not to be able to get an apartment. So what are your
right.
So before we get your thoughts there, here's because I just read this probably 20 minutes ago, and my first reaction was, is this victimhood? I could be completely wrong. Okay. You've had more experience dealing with it, and you grew up in the city, a big city. Yeah. There's a lot of shit going on. I grew up in a suburb, so it's totally effing different, right?
Yeah.
So when you hear that from Hubert Matthews, and that's good. And by the way, he's cleaning himself up. Right?
Correct. Yep. Okay? Yep. He's a counselor right now, drug counselor or something. So that's good.
So what do you think?
I guess you could say a part of it is, I don't want to 100% say that's victimhood, but there is a part that people will play a victim. I'm not strong enough. I can't do it. I need your help, which is that's true. So that's a good way of coming at it. I think, to me, and with my experience, I think in order for somebody to get right, they themselves have to acknowledge when they've hit rock bottom. And whatever that looks like, it might look different for you, it might look different for me. But if I try to help you, Matt, and you drugged out on that meth or whatever, until you feel like you've hit rock bottom, you're never going to be able to help yourself. Never. So
do you think this is a good thing, a bad thing, or yet to be determined? I mean, I'm kind of on the fence with it. I don't really have a position one way or another. I think I could make an argument for both.
Yeah.
But it's more like what they do in Holland and in other countries in Europe. So what's your position?
I don't know yet. I'm interested to see how it works. How about that?
I am too. I'm really curious to see if it makes things better,
right,
or if it does make things worse. I really have no idea.
Right.
But that's one of those things we'll have to wait and see. So there's that. Man.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia.
Hey, we were just talking about this before we went live. How much COVID coverage has there been the last few days? The life-threatening, all-knowing disease virus that kills everybody upon breathing. And if you talk too loudly, you're going to kill someone because COVID travels when you talk loudly. Loudly.
Hey,
Where'd it go, Chuck? Where'd it go?
News channels will go from talking about the election to talk about the weather. They won't even mention COVID. And if they do, instead of it dominating the newscast, it's like a 1 minute, maybe 45 seconds, and then they're on to the next one. Impressive.
So Jack Nicklaus, one of the best golfers of all time, 18 major championships. So he and his wife got COVID. You know what he took? Hydroxychloroquine. Chloroquine. Some people say chloroquine. Well, I don't know what hydroxychloroquine. That's what he took. Okay. That's what he took. And he was better in just a few days. And that's what he told everyone. He also told friends told him that their parents, who were elderly, they passed away. And the powers that be wanted to put COVID, even though they knew that it was not COVID. Where's this article? Right here. And I can't put this on live unless I share my screen. Palm Beach Post. We can put it here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put this link. I can put the link in the chat, Chuck. That's there you go. Fancy shit we got going on here.
That's a step up.
Look at that. Is that actually going to go out? I don't know.
It is.
Look at that. Read that article. Okay. This is what he's saying. So COVID. That's everything. We're shutting down businesses. Starving people, again, feeding America, Inland Empire out here. And we had them on my other podcast. For those of you that didn't know, actually they nominated us for Media Partner of the Year, even though we're not a media organization with my company. But they fed over 40,000 people in the first 6 weeks of the pandemic, and they would normally only feed about 100. Okay, now fast forward, we had them on again. Over the first 13 weeks of the shutdown, they fed how many? Almost 100,000 people. And that's just through the drive up. That's not through anything else that they did. 100,000 people when normally they would have fed under 200.
Great job.
So no one ever talked about the starvation aspect of it. They're like, oh, COVID's killing. You know what? It is killing. And you know what's hurting the most? The people that are living paycheck to paycheck. And they need to be working. Plus, drug addiction is up. Alcohol abuse is up. The divorce numbers, I don't know. Domestic violence. Good point.
Yes.
Hey, but Chuck, here's what we're going to do now because the communist states of America, according to the Democrats, we're going to get into that, stolen the election. They want to, and Joe Biden has said, we're going to bring a social worker out there, man. A social worker. We don't need cops really to intervene in that way. A social worker's going to go out there and set everything straight. But if you actually talk to a policeman, and I'm sure there's some that may say that can help. Ones that I've spoken to said that hasn't. By the way, to stay with the COVID thing, I got a buddy who's part of a police department here in Southern California, and he said that 5 of his coworkers, they had to go get tested for COVID, but their immediate superiors like, you guys can't go anywhere. I need you here. Damn. Okay, but they were scheduled to go get tested, right? They were scheduled to get tested, but they didn't wind up going. And they later got a text message saying that they tested positive for COVID, even though they never got tested.
Wait a minute. They never went to go get tested?
They never went to get tested.
What did the superior say to that?
They really can't do anything.
Oh my God.
They really can't do anything. So that's kind of the issue. That's kind of the issue there. Okay. I know everyone's watching the numbers come in, and everybody is wondering what's going to happen. No, they're not. I think it's inevitable what's going to happen, not because Joe Biden is a better candidate, not because Joe Biden is going to be better for the country, not because Joe Biden got more legitimate votes, it's because, and stay with me here. I'm going to lay this out for you people.
What you mean, you people?
The Dems, I'm only talking about you, Chuck. You people. You're not a Dem. So you're not part of the you people here. Look, the Dems, the communists of the country were not going to allow Trump to win, no matter what. And let's just go back over the last 4 years. Okay, John Brennan briefed Barack Obama on July 26, 2016, that Hilary Clinton came up with these shenanigans, the Russian hoax. They hired Christopher Steele through Fusion GPS, and they came up with the dossier, which led to all their surveillance, right? And they had to get Michael Flynn out because Michael Flynn had a bunch of dirt on Obama and the Obama administration, Hillary Clinton. And it's part of the reason why he was fired. He was defiant and wasn't listening to them. So they had to get rid of Flynn. But first and foremost, they couldn't let Trump succeed. Hence, Strzok and Page, their text messages, it's our insurance policy. So they started Crossfire Hurricane within the FBI. And the Dems, and to their credit, like Chuck, I have to say this, like these are some smart mother effers, right? Really smart mother effers. It's not, we're not saying they're stupid. They're just people with, and they talk about us having lack of morality,
Right.
but all they've done is ruin people's lives. You may hate Roger Stone. You may think Roger Stone's an idiot. You may think Roger Stone is an a-hole, but you send frogmen to his house amongst how many other FBI agents in the middle of the night for white-collar crimes? And stuff that, because they said he lied to Congress, but you got to send how many FBI agents? And if you look at the video, CNN was there 14 minutes before. And Roger Stone proves this. He has the video. 14 minutes before the FBI arrived. So you got Russia collusion. Russia. We got to get him out. Get him out. He's racist. He's a xenophobe. He's this. He's that. Why do they want to get Trump out so bad?
You tell me.
Why did they want to get him out?
You tell me, man.
Okay, here's the deal. Trump is not a part of the deal, meaning he's not a part of the cabal. He's not in the club. Let's put it that way. Maybe at one point he was, and I'm not denying that. And Trump's this, that, and he's totally corrupt. And this, I'm not saying he's not. Okay, let's be completely freaking honest here. I'm not saying he's not. But if you're in politics for so many years and you're a bureaucrat and that's your job, the likelihood of you being corrupt on some level goes up exponentially from the time you get into one of those positions or you're an elected official. Am I right or wrong, Chuck?
I think if you get that high in politics, you have to be corrupt. I think there's no way around it. No way around it.
Otherwise, they take you out. Right?
Correct. There's no way around it.
So they had to take Trump out because he wasn't a part of the agenda. Well, what's the agenda? Again, the New World Order, one totalitarian government. You may think that's a conspiracy theory. Okay, maybe it is. Who came up with the term conspiracy theory? Well, the CIA did back in the 1960s. Okay, and the reason why they did this is because people are like, how did JFK die? How did he die?
How did he die?
People weren't buying the single gunman approach. It just, none of it was adding up. So the CIA had to find a way to demonize people. Let's fast forward. Yep. Who are experts at demonizing people based on labels, Chuck? Who's really good at that? Who's mastered this?
Who's mastered it?
What political party has mastered labeling?
Let me think about that. It might wear the color blue. Let me think about that one. Yeah.
So mixing Barack Obama.
Mixing.
He said,
figuratively or literally?
I said mix in. He was
my bad.
And yeah, he is mixed race. That's totally fact too. I see where you're going with that. Okay. All of this is so insane that they had to remove Trump from office. But when you break it down, Trump's not a part of the club. Biden's a part of the club. So it works. Like, it's good. We got to push him forward. He's an Obama guy. We think we can get him elected. We just gotta hide him. But the whole time Trump's in office, relentless pursuit to get him out of office. And what I want to do right now, we got rules. We got the rules for radicals. Sal Alinsky here. I got it here. Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Sorry. Well, that's a Georgia thing. We're going to get into the fraud. So rules for radicals. You get, I mean, okay. So I'm going to hide this again before we get back into that. So guess who was a mentor to Hilary Clinton? Sal Alinsky, one of the biggest left-wing activists ever. His parents were Bolsheviks, came over here from Chicago in the 1930s. His parents did. And I'm going to lay this out too. So the line of thinking is, I'm more educated. I'm smarter than you. My IQ's way superior to yours. Therefore, I should be making all the decisions. Sal Alinsky, amongst the other leftists, and this is kind of where communism, Marxism started too. And it evolved from there. They're smarter. They're more well-intended, and they're the ones who should be making the decisions. I don't care if you're a business owner and you're making X amount of money and you're doing really well for yourself and your family, or you're a blue-collar worker, you're doing really well for yourself too. You're an idiot. You're not as smart as I am. Therefore, I'm going to make the decisions for you.
Right.
And we're gonna get back into that because all of that leads into today. So Sal Alinsky, mentor to Hilary Clinton, and Hillary and Saul, there's letters there. Who knows? They were probably banging at the time. I mean, Saul, to his credit, Hillary was a lot younger. You know what I mean? She was in college, getting her going to law school, whatever. So, and Barack was a big proponent of Sal Alinsky too. I'm not making any of this shit up. If you don't believe me, you can look it up. So here's the rules for radicals, and then we're going to get back to kind of the theology of what's going on now. But I need to point this out again, some of the tactics that are going on. And I pulled up the wrong one again. Here we go. It's a new system. So Chuck, you can see this. Sal Alinsky's 13 rules for radicals. Number 1, power is not what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. Power is derived from 2 main sources, money and people. Have-nots must build power from flesh and blood. What does that first one mean to you?
Hey,
must build power from flesh and blood.
Hey, get it however you have to. If you have to, step on some toes, or so to speak, and smash somebody up. Hey, get that power, man. So, and the people below you, get them out of here. So that's that line of thinking. Sal Alinsky also, in his book, which I have on my phone, I'm a big Audible person. So what he talks about, if you can't win at the ballot box, because he's an activist. Obama's an activist. If you can't win at the ballot box, then we go to arms. But who thinks that way, Chuck? If you can't win at the ballot box, you go to arms, or you figure out a way to beat the opposing party, the opposition, the next time around. What's logical and what's insane? No, come on. The insane part is why would you go to arms?
Because this is the ideology of Marxism, communism, and Alinsky just lays it out for people. Number 2, never go outside the expertise of your people. It results in confusion, fear, and retreat. Feeling secure adds to the backbone of anyone. So don't think outside the box at all. Okay. And we're going to get into more of that and we're going to bring on Yuri again. You remember Yuri, ex-KGB.
Yuri.
Number 3, whenever possible, go outside the expertise of the enemy. look for ways to increase insecurity, anxiety, and uncertainty. So what have they done to Trump throughout this whole presidency? What have they done?
They've just
attack.
They just completely attack, man. Like, you know, it was always something new all the time. You know, he's done this. Let's look at the past. Let's see. He needs to be arrested for what he said. And I'm like, good Lord, man, what are we coming up with now? God,
well, there's a lot that they came up with, which was never truthful. Matter of fact, the Ukraine thing Biden did with the quid pro quo, because they started. Prosecutor in Ukraine started investigating Burisma, which Hunter Biden was part of the board, and Biden withheld $1 billion in loan to the Ukrainians unless they fired the prosecutors who was investigating Burisma. And so they said, I got 6 hours. I'm leaving in 6 hours. You fire that prosecutor, otherwise you're not getting the $1 billion. Well, son of a bitch, they fired him.
Son of a bitch.
Number 4. Look, this is all on tape. All on tape. We were rushed today. Otherwise, we would have had that for everyone. But the whole point of this is just kind of laying out the methodology, ideology of what's kind of transpiring. Okay. And Yuri, the former KGB agent, he's going to explain a little bit more. And hopefully that sinks in. Okay. Number 4, make the enemy live up to its own book of rules. If the rule is that every letter gets a replay, send 30,000 letters. You can kill them with this because no one can possibly obey all of their own rules.
No one
can.
Oh my goodness.
So it's just through 4. What's my thought is 1 through 4. What are you trying to do to people? You're not trying to win. You're trying to destroy them.
Yeah.
For what purpose? What's the purpose, Chuck? What's the purpose? Why would you want to destroy people?
Their own game, man. They just want to control people.
Let's just think about it from a human level. Why would you want to destroy anybody? Why would you want to do that? What do you get out of it? What's the point? Because they're so evil? How are they so evil? Irredeemable deplorables? Hillary? Everyone's so evil. Everyone's got a family. Everyone's got friends.
Yep.
And you want to see their lives thrown away because of an ideology that's never worked? Let's give everything away for free.
Oh, hell no.
And then, Chuck, who benefits the most in a communist government? Who benefits the most?
Oh, the people at the top.
So what's the whole point of communism? To make everything...
Keep your ass down, baby. Stay at your level.
Yes, but to make everyone equal. Everyone's got to be on an equal playing field. And that's the argument of the left. Inequality this, inequality that, and nothing is equal. Yeah, you're right. Moron, nothing is equal. It never has been, and it never will be. Yet you're buying into a goddamn ideology that has never fucking worked. It's never worked. Nothing's ever going to be fair. Nothing's ever going to be equal. And we talk about the election. Is it a fair election? No, it's not a fair election. And again, I have to give it to the Democrats about what they did. And we're gonna circle back. I know when I'm track about well, just from a strategy standpoint, I got to give it to him. Like, it was pretty brilliant. And we're gonna circle back to that. Okay, so everyone's like, well, you're talking about this and you're going to the Sal Alinsky thing. Well, it all kind of weaves in and out, right? In and out. There we go. Okay. How do we like that? Okay, number 5. How do we like this one? Ridicule is man's most potent weapon. There is no defense. It's irrational. It's infuriating. It also works as a key pressure point to force the enemy to concessions. Okay, key word in this, Chuck. Enemy. Fuck.
Who's the enemy?
The political opposition is the enemy.
Mm.
It's the enemy. What do you think here?
Mm.
What? There is no defense. It's irrational. It's infuriating. It also works as a key pressure point to force the enemy into concessions.
Damn enemies. We gotta get rid of them. Fuck the enemies.
Well,
Fuck the enemy, Sully.
dude. If you just look at so look at this. So what did they do to Trump? What did they do to Trump? Keep the pressure on. Yes. Ridicule. He's a racist. He's evil. He's this. He's that.
Yep.
Xenophobe. I don't know, any phobia word you libtards can come up with that, it's what you people are doing is labeling. And we're all supposed to be equal, right? But yet you're labeling. And if you continue to label, then we're always going to be separate or separated. Chuck, am I right or wrong with that?
That's true. That's true. And my black people, man, I'm always kind of interested because, you go back 5-6 years, whenever before Trump was ever president, and a lot of black people had nothing but good things to say about Trump. Like I said in the past, rappers always talked about how they want to be like Trump, this and that. Then he runs for president as a Republican, and he's racist, just like that. It's like, what just happened? A year ago, you said you wanted to buy an apartment in his building in New York City, and now he's racist. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. He's what'd you say? Everyone wanted to be the Black Trump.
Everybody wanted to be the Black Trump, man. Yeah.
Then he ran for president as a Republican, and he became a racist all of a sudden.
All of a sudden, just like that.
When Joe Biden literally gave the eulogy at Senator Byrd's funeral, calling him a great mentor and a great man. And Senator Byrd was part of the KKK. And in 1977, Biden talked about the racial jungle that would happen if there was school integration because he didn't want his kids going to school with black kids.
Yep.
By the way, while we're on the Biden thing, I know we're weaving in and out here.
Yep.
But where'd that go? I don't have that ready. That's really annoying. Oh yeah, I got it right here. Hold on. Check this out. Here's President Kennedy asked not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Then little Biden, a little bit more about Biden that you guys voted for, this person.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling and you take him for a friend.
You know who I am. You know who he is. You know his character. You know my character. You know our reputations for honor and telling the truth.
Senator Joseph Biden may have more explaining to do. The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
And I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
Joe Biden was victimized by the truth.
Bye Biden. He may not know it yet, but I think this is going to be very difficult for him to recover.
Is Joe Biden dead meat, yes or no?
I think so.
Bob?
It's in terminal condition.
Terminal. Eleanor?
Yes, unless he comes in third in Iowa.
Morton?
Dying.
I say dead. We'll be right back.
Times when he gently rearranges a young girl's hair and whispers in her ear, then rearranges some more. There's nothing pervy here. The VP knows he's on camera at these swearing-in ceremonies, and the parents are right there as he leans in for a kiss.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand, and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. I've loved kids jumping on my
lap. You like kids jumping on your lap, Chuck?
Unless they're my kids, no.
So that's Joe Biden.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that went in. 47 years he's been in office. Not sure what he's done. The 94 crime bill. Okay. We gotta make crack a 10th of a prison sentence of cocaine.
Yes.
Why is that, Chuck? What do you think? A 10th.
Oh.
A 10th. So, for instance, you have an ounce of cocaine. Mm-hmm. Go to jail for a year, whatever it was. But if you have an ounce of crack, you're going away for 10 years.
Yes, and that affects a lot of people in the inner city, a lot of minorities in the inner city, man, because a lot of people in the inner city who are non-violent folks who just wanted to get high will get caught with crack. They got to go to jail for 10 years. They didn't do anything. They didn't hurt anybody. They just got $5 or $10, smoked some crack, got caught, and they go to prison for 10 years. What type of shit is that?
Biden. That's Joe Biden, who gave the eulogy at a KKK member's funeral and also said he didn't want his kids going to school with black people because
he's gotten away with it.
A racial jungle. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Alinsky. I'm going to run through this quickly.
Okay.
The ridicule. Number 6, a good tactic is one your people enjoy. They'll keep doing it without urging and come back down to do more. They're doing their thing and will even suggest better ones. A good tactic is one your people will enjoy. They'll keep doing it without urging and come back to do more. So that one, a good tactic is one your people will enjoy. Keep attacking Trump. And that's all they did for 4 years. They attacked. They made up stuff. It drove ratings on CNN, MSNBC, Russia, Ukraine, Stormy Daniels. The list goes on and on. None of which, and Trump banked Stormy Daniels. Don't get me wrong. Like no one's saying that he didn't. No one's ever said that he didn't. Whatever. Was he married at the time? Yeah, it seems like he was.
Here's my problem with Stormy Daniels. Listen, he never paid to fuck you. He paid you to shut the fuck up. And if I'm going to pay you to shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up.
Touche.
That's it.
Touche.
Yeah.
And Trump was not in office at the time. Everything alleged against Joseph Biden, he was in office. This was on a taxpayer's dime, enriching himself. And I'm not saying that other politicians don't do that, because they do.
Yep.
That's the gig. Whether, they put together bills and money's sent overseas to different countries that need it, and a small kickback comes their way. You know, that's kind of how the stuff works, and we understand. And why this system works is because we get a piece of the pie. Right, Chuck? We get a piece of the pie. If you work hard, you do the right thing, you're a good person, you can have a pretty good piece of the pie, right?
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. And then the more you work, the harder you get, and get up there, get that bigger piece of pie, man. It's not wrong with that.
Okay, number 7, a tactic that drags on too long becomes a drag. Don't become old news. So Russia, COVID. Right or wrong? It drags on too long. Oh, Russia. Robert Mueller would have known within a day, excuse me, we'll give him a week, that there was nothing there on collusion. Okay. There was nothing there because it was fabricated by Hilary Clinton. Because there was a poll that came out in 2015 as to Hilary Clinton's biggest weakness. Her biggest weakness was Russia. Uranium 1, we gave up 20% of our uranium to the Russians, and that didn't look good. So how did she reverse it? Well, she put it on Trump, and they made up this whole dossier about, you know, golden showers and what have you. You know, maybe Trump really is into that. It wasn't proven, right? Certainly was not. But Hillary came up with that, and they moved forward with it. So that's kind of the deal there.
Brilliant.
Number 8, keep the pressure on. Never let up. Keep trying new things to keep the opposition off balance. As the opposition masters one approach, hit them from the flank with something new. Again, Russia, COVID. Did it ever go away? And by the way, according to, I'm sure, many Democrats, COVID's never going away. Not until we have a vaccine. Well, I'll tell you what, and Trump put it perfectly. You know, the first one's going to take the vaccine? We'll give it to the doctors. The doctors don't want to take it first. But you know what? Who the Dems want to give it to first? Chuck?
Who would that be?
People in inner cities.
Guinea pigs, huh?
You said it, not me.
Oh, okay.
You said it, not me.
Let's see how they react off of it. If they die, they die, right?
Well, Bill Gates proven that in Africa and India with his polio vaccine. They're just experimenting on people. That's another one. We'll have to get back to Kimberly Strassel. So keep the pressure on. Russia, COVID, whatever it is. I mean, they made up so much shit. And by the way, I need to say this too.
Say it.
Trump is a salesperson, so he's going to embellish.
1,000%.
He's going to embellish. He's going to make things sound better than they actually are.
Yep.
But the media, there's no benefit of the doubt here. It's just attack. And because it's all part of what I started talking about before, the New World Order. And a lot of the media members, they're incentivized through financially, I should say, to do that. And there's a lot of money going around. We saw with the elections how much money was spent in the senatorial races to get Lindsey Graham out, to get there was just a lot of people they attacked, incumbents, and not one Republican did they defeat. But they spent millions upon millions of dollars, and it didn't work. So there's net gains in the House. The Senate, I haven't seen in a little while. It was tied. It looked like the Republicans going to win. By the way, they stole the election from John James in Wisconsin. Did you see that? It was a brother who was winning.
Yep.
And then overnight, there was the dump, and we're going to talk about that. The dump of votes, which they debunked, because that's what they do. They debunk everything. How the hell do you know? How do you know? You guys don't ask any fucking questions. A lot of people don't ask any fucking questions. Here's how I know this, okay? And now we're doing this, whatever.
Let's go.
I called up the Riverside County of Vital Statistics 2 weeks ago because I wanted to see all 1,254 COVID death certificates within the county. I called them up, like I would like to see that, and they're like, well, I'm going to have to escalate this. By the way, they were super nice. I'm not saying that they weren't. They were super, super nice. They were, they didn't know how to handle it. So they kept escalating it. And they were, you know, asking who I was, where I'm from, why I wanted this information. And my question to them was, how many other people have called up asking to review the death certificates of the people that have quote unquote died from COVID? Because we know that there's been mass challenges relating to COVID and people dying of COVID. By the way, the flu's down 92% this year. Just saying, flu deaths, COVID's way up.
Interesting.
No one else, at least in this state or across the country, called up to ask to review any death certificates from the Riverside County of Vital Statistics. I was only one. And Chuck, you know what that told me? You know what that told me?
That one person was Matt Sully.
That's right. It also told me that a lot of people are blindly listening to representatives or government officials, elected officials, doctors that don't have our best interests at heart.
Absolutely.
It's a more political. Not one media outlet called up to review the information. Not one. Not one. Not one.
Yeah, that shouldn't surprise you.
No, it doesn't. There's level
man gets hit by a car, he died from COVID, brother.
By the way, it's $21 to per application. You got to fill out an application per death certificate, and it's $21 to do that. And then you can see it. I was thinking about starting a GoFundMe page just to review all that stuff.
Oh, there you go.
Certainly did not as of yet. Okay, keep the pressure on, blah, blah, blah. And this, I mean, think about this, Chuck, just before we get into number 9. Your thoughts on the list so far. Is this a tactic or tactics that remind you of people that you want to surround yourself with?
Come on, man. Absolutely not, man. Crazy ass folks. No, thank you.
Okay. So why do people think this is a legit way to approach politics and people that disagree with them on politics?
Because they brainwashed, man. They've been brainwashed since they was young, man. And if you disagree with you, like, it's okay to disagree with somebody. It is okay. But
the level of insanity is at its all-time high, and I'm going to relate it to this, and people are going to be like, well, that's not even fair, right? But, well, nothing's fair, obviously, with this election. It's not fucking fair, is it? You don't have any proof. Well, you don't have any either, so go fuck yourself. Chuck, am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're right about that.
I may not have any right now. I'm going to bring something up, though, that's going to suggest some things after we get through Mr. Alinsky. And we got a couple of other things, and we're going to wrap this thing up. But you have no fucking proof either. Pardon my language. But you have no proof. So you can't say that there hasn't been nefarious things going on in every major city in the battleground states. I'm going to leave it at that.
Right.
Okay, number 9. The threat is usually more terrifying than the thing itself. Imagination and ego can dream up many more consequences than any activist. The threat is usually more terrifying than the thing itself. Again, Chuck, Russia, COVID. What did the Russians really do in the election? They had some bots going. What did they do? They didn't alter one vote, which the Dems are doing right now. They're altering how many votes? Fuck, it looks like
millions.
At least hundreds, thousands. We can say thousands. I don't know that it's millions, but it's thousands in whatever. But that's, dude, all of this is insane. It's all just insane. The threat is usually more terrifying than the thing itself. Imagination and ego can dream up more consequences than the activists. So, okay. COVID. Let's just go to COVID. Russia. It's just fucking, that whole thing was made up. It's insane. COVID. It's a whole nother deal. People think that COVID is going to like kill everybody on Earth. Some people do. This ain't everyone. Okay. And it's just not. And the numbers suggest that it's just not. But if you're not wearing a mask, then you're evil and you're trying to kill people when you yourself have no data to suggest anything. Oh, well, there's 200-something thousand dead. Really? Did they die from COVID? No. Do you know that? No, you don't know that. You know how I know? Because you don't do anything except for watch the fucking news. I'm not saying you, Chuck, but a lot of people. I'm not saying all of you. A lot of people are really good patriots and they do their own research and they figure some stuff out. But a lot of people blindly just sit there and watch the news, listen to government officials, and think that that's the truth, which it is not.
You know, for example, I don't understand. Like it happened in your, I think the game was in your state. Like they postponed the California and Washington game because a couple people got COVID. And I'm like, so these are young kids, they're fine. If you don't want to play those people who got COVID, don't play them. But you got 60 other guys, play them.
You know what? If the game. Chuck, I'm gonna say this. If you want to stay in your house, and by the way, again, no one's talking about COVID the last couple of days when there's super outbreaks and cases and hospitals are about to be overrun. Okay. You can stay in your house the rest of your life. You stay in your house the rest of your life. Order delivery. Okay. Do not tell me what to do or what I should do. It's frankly none of your business what I do. And it's none of my business what you do. Okay? I just want to say that. Chuck, what are your thoughts?
Hey, don't fucking tell me what to do. I'm gonna roll on my way. But I'll be respectful. If I have to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask. You know, I do that now here in Tennessee, whatever.
Look,
but
I'll put one on.
Yeah.
And I keep it in my pocket.
Yeah.
Okay. I put one on, especially if I have to get in and out of a place and I have to go to that place and I don't want to deal with the stupid shit.
Sure.
I'll put it on and then, you know, I can't breathe in the thing. I just can't breathe in a thing. So I have to bring it down.
You can breathe. It's just harder to breathe. Because if you couldn't breathe, Matt, you wouldn't put it on. Come on now.
Shut up. Yes, I can breathe. It's just a pain in the ass.
Yes, it is.
You're right. Yeah, you're totally right. I don't disagree with that shit. But stay the hell home. You don't like it, you're gonna die. Stay the hell home. By the way, more people are dying at home from fucking COVID. So if you like that, I'm not saying I want you to die because I don't. That's the last thing. But don't be a fucking jackass out there.
Hey, you can get COVID from that Uber Eats guy or that Amazon package.
Yeah, the threat is usually more terrifying. That's it. Number 10, the major premise for tactics is the development of operations that will maintain a constant pressure upon the opposition. It is this unceasing pressure that results in the reactions from the opposition that are essential for the success of the campaign. Now, let's look at this again. Read the major premise for these tactics is the development of operations that will maintain a constant pressure upon the opposition. What have they done to Trump the whole freaking time? Constant pressure. Constant. Because he's not a part of the cabal. He's not a part of the New World Order. We got to get him out. Trump set them back 4 years. That's the problem. That's the problem. I'm going to finish up my initial statement here once we run through this, but I think this is really important. Number 11, if you push a negative hard enough, it will push through and become a positive. Violence from the other side can win the public to your side because the public sympathizes with the underdog. Okay. Exploiting black people for 50 years. My thoughts. Exploiting brown people for how many, any minority. That's all they do for their benefit. That proves it right there, does it not?
Yes. It says a lot to it. It definitely says a lot. If it doesn't prove it, it says a damn lot.
Okay, number 12, the price of a success. Oh, yeah, we did that. The price of a successful attack is a. Oh, no, we didn't do that one. The price of a successful attack is a constructive alternative. Never let the enemy score points because you're caught without a solution to the problem.
Don't give them any points, baby.
And number 13.
On offense.
Yeah, staying off. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Trump's on defense right now, is he not?
Yeah.
He's on defense in one of the most insanely important elections of all time. He's on defense. And again, I have to give it to the Dems for their strategy in this whole deal, which we're going to finish up with here. Okay. Number 13, pick the target, freeze it, personalize it, and polarize it. Cut off the support network and isolate the target from sympathy. Go after people and not institutions. People hurt faster than institutions.
Damn.
So who did they go after? Did they go after the presidency or did they go after Trump?
Oh, they went after Trump.
Okay. Look, I didn't write these. Sal Alinsky did, and he got these from, he constructed these, he formulated these from the Communist Manifesto as kind of a roadmap for young activist revolutionaries. And Sal Alinsky, if I still have this quote here, do I still have this quote here? Let me look. Yeah, here we go. This is Sal Alinsky. It's within the first 120 seconds of his book, Rules for Radicals. And I quote, "The very first radical known to man who rebelled against the establishment and did it so effectively that he at least won his own kingdom. Lucifer."
Never heard of him.
Dude. Lucifer. So someone who praised Lucifer, that was Hilary Clinton's biggest mentor. I guess Lucifer is not a big deal anymore. I guess being a Satanist, Luciferian, that's I guess that's common. That's commonplace. Chuck, what are your thoughts on the tactics of the left? And this is not a right-leaning thing at all. This is of the left, by the left, constructed by the left.
Hey, like you said, man, they did a good job, man. They came up with a scheme, a plan. Oh, sorry, I said scheme, plan. And you know, they went for it, man. And shit, it looks like they might be able to get it done. Yeah,
we haven't looked at the numbers. I'm sure a lot of you guys are looking at the numbers all the time. So I'm gonna circle back to what we were talking about when we got into this whole diatribe, if you will, because we wanted to lay some things out. So just to put this into perspective, Trump gets elected, Operation Crossfire Hurricane. We got to get him out. That was all planned out. Hillary Clinton, they knew, was going to lead into this. Comey, after he gets fired, he leaks the memos to his buddy. They knew would trigger general counsel. Robert Mueller went on for 2.5 years, almost $40 million of taxpayer dollars, and Mueller knew after about a week that there was nothing there, but he's a part of that as well. So it wasted everyone's time and resources. And during that time, Trump was building a wall, the economy, opportunity zones, which is a huge component of why the black vote went up this year in 2020.
Absolutely.
And I want to get, Chuck, I want to get to that. I want to get to that in a moment. I just want to lay this out. Okay. So you got to get Trump out. How do we get him out? By any means necessary. This is the opus operandi. I totally have, whatever. It's their motto. For what am I trying to say here?
I can't say it either.
Yeah, what the hell? Let's go to like training. Oh, they're gonna want to put us in re-education camps anyways. Chuck.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
We'll learn it there. So their whole point was to get Trump out of office by any means necessary. That's the deal. By any means necessary. Think about that. Just think about it. Any means necessary. What's going on tonight? What's gone on the last 4 years? What went on during this election process?
COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
Pandemic.
So the Dems have been talking about a recession for over 2 years. That's the only way we're going to get Trump out of office, a recession. Well, shit, doesn't look like there's going to be a recession. They tried to force one through the media. That didn't work. And they're like, well, damn it, this isn't working. What can we do? I know. What about a pandemic? A global pandemic. How are we going to do that? Well, we have these labs in China.
Just so happen to have these labs in China.
Shit, let's infect a bunch of Chinamen and or a bunch of Chinese, I should say, and put them on planes and fly them all over the world. And this is a way of effing up Donald Trump, but we're gonna put it out all over the world. But the whole point is to really subvert the democracy of the United States of America. Trump. Trump, I think honestly, Trump did his best. He shut down travel from China, from Europe, and he was called racist, xenophobe. And by the way, Nancy Pelosi on the 24th of February in San Francisco said, "Oh
my God,
come down to Chinatown and you guys will have a wonderful time." This February 24th, Trump shut it down on the 29th, 30th of January. Joe Biden also called him racist, xenophobe at that time. So, okay, we need a recession. How do we create a recession? Pandemic, right? We need a pandemic.
Yep.
Okay, that's going to create a recession. Okay, well, how's a recession actually going to happen? Well, we're going to have to shut everyone down. They're not going to be able to leave their house, right? They're not going to be able to go to work. They're not going to be able to do anything. They need to stay at home for at least 2 weeks to stop the spread. Wasn't it 2 weeks, Chuck?
It was 2 weeks and turned into 8 months or whatever the hell it is.
2 weeks. Huh. If we can keep everyone shut down long enough, then we're not going to be able to have people vote, right? They're not going to be able to vote in person.
Mail in those ballots. Mail it in.
That's right. Mail-in ballots. That's a way to get mail-in ballots where we have more control over everything. Because typically, at least within the last 20 years, set aside 2000, because it was different with Florida, Bush and Gore, they've been able to call the presidency that night, election night.
Yeah, I mean, in my great city of Philadelphia, it still has over 70,000 mail-in ballots to count, allegedly. Allegedly.
So the Dems got everything they wanted. They got the recession via the pandemic. And by the way, who benefits the most? And I said this to my buddies in early February. Who benefits the most from COVID? All you got to do, follow the money, follow what happens, follow who benefits, right? The Dems, why? Because it affects Trump. It hurts Trump. I don't really care about the people. It's bullshit. If you care about the people, that's literally insane. I'm not saying Republicans do much either, right? Really, a lot of these people just care about keeping power, money, power, access, all that stuff. So the Dems benefit the most because they'll be able to get Trump out, and China, which they want Trump out too because of the tariffs and the agreements, the trade agreements that they had. Now that those actually go through because of the pandemic, I think maybe phase one. I don't think it was fully ratified. If you will.
We'll see in a few weeks.
So all of this stuff happens. People are shut down. You're not going to be able to vote. Oh well, the mail-in ballots. It's perfect way to get everyone their ballot because there's voter suppression. We can't have voter suppression. Chuck, you're black. This is targeted towards you, not from me, but by the Dems in the media. You're black. According to them and by their language, you don't have the capability to get a valid ID and to register to vote and then to actually go and vote. You just don't have that capability.
It's funny because I did that, but yeah, I don't have the capability. You're right, I don't.
So we're disenfranchising people. We're suppressing the vote. And for the record, Chuck, what is suppressing the vote mean to you as a black man in America?
Listen, they just want to control who they put in office to turn around and control me. You know, so I'm not suppressed. Don't need to suppress my vote. But they did that. You're right. They did that. And people fell for it. And they want to control you to get your vote because they are, what they say, giving out handouts. Hey, you can do this. You can do that. We just want your vote. We're not going to help you, but we just want your vote. You know, what did he say? What your boy say? Your boy, Matt.
Who's that?
You're not black if you vote for Trump. Your boy said that.
Yeah, my boy Joe Biden.
Yeah, your boy. That's your guy.
Hey, you ain't black. You ain't black. If you vote for Trump. You vote for Trump. That's what he said. If you vote for Trump, you ain't
vote for Trump. You ain't black. I'm like, you look in the mirror. You ain't black either, dog.
No, he's not. Yeah. Apparently, he broke a record. He got more votes than Obama.
Damn.
The most uninspiring, unmotivating, semi-senile person, or fully senile person we've ever seen run for president got the most votes
of all time.
Of all time.
Yeah.
More votes than Obama. Really? How do you think that happens, Chuck?
Mail in.
Mail in.
Mail in. Everybody mailed them in. Even if I went down and voted, I can mail mine in as well.
So we're gonna finish this here. The starvation, the drugs, alcohol, closure of businesses, jobs with the shutdown. No one seems to care. We need to implement our plan, right? We got to implement the plan because we got to get Trump out of office. We got to get him out. He's effing up everything. We gotta get him out. Mail-in ballots. And so they put their lawyers to work. And they worked on each individual state. And, you know, it's funny how the swing states or the potential what the Dems saw as swing states, that's where the biggest challenges were. Milwaukee.
Wisconsin, yep.
Detroit.
Yep, Michigan.
Atlanta.
Georgia.
And
the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Charlotte. Raleigh,
forgot about North
Carolina.
Yep, forgot about them. Yep.
So there's just a lot. There's a lot going on here, and again, I commend the Dems on doing this because they knew, and their lawyers knew what to do. The state legislatures actually have the power, so you can't legislate from the bench, right? And I'm not an attorney. You know, you're not, Chuck, as far as I know.
No.
You can't legislate from the bench, which the Dems try to do, but the state legislatures didn't step up and do anything, nor did the Supreme Court. John Roberts just kind of sent it back, didn't rule on it. It's still open on extending the counts, right? And the ballots, as long as they're postmarked by the 3rd, we can keep counting until this date, and every state is different. But it's strange that Florida got everything in. How did Florida get everything in, Chuck? How do you suppose that?
There was nobody behind the scenes making them be puppets. And this happened to be the home of the president as well.
Florida got everything in. And they did it in pretty much record time, right?
Yeah.
Yet Arizona, Nevada, who knows what was going on with that? Fox News.
Who the fuck knows what's going on with that?
Called Arizona the night of when it's going to come down to 2,000, 3,000 votes either way. Maybe it already has. I haven't seen.
The night of, they called it like an hour within. I was like, what the hell, y'all? I'll tell you this. This is another question. That's so everybody want to call him racist because he wanted to build a wall. Why did he get a ton of Hispanic votes? Why?
Because he's racist.
Correct. That's what I'm like. Okay. Okay.
He's racist. That's all. That's all these people can say. I mean, look. At the end of the day, Trump's not a part of their deal. The New World Order. They had to get him out. And again, by any means necessary. That's the title of this episode, episode 6, by any means necessary. And we're seeing it play out in front of our eyes. So just to go back, we needed a recession to get them out. How are we going to do that? We need a pandemic. Okay, the pandemic. How are we going to create the recession? We need a shutdown. How long of a shutdown? We're just going to keep it shut down.
Just shut it all down.
Well, how are we going to get mail-in ballots? We're going to keep it shut down. Why do we need mail-in ballots? Because that provides us with an opportunity to manipulate the votes. Project Veritas has a lot of video on this from Minnesota, other places. There's video from postal workers. No, they haven't gone postal. They're just kind of reporting on what's transpiring. They have everything. They really accounted for everything. That's why I said, it's masterful. The amount of money they put in.
Yeah, is this how the vote went? 1 for you, 1 for me. 2 for you, 1, 2 for me. 3 for you, 1, 2, 3 for me. Is that how it went?
Well, it certainly seems that way. Yeah. So the ballots had to be in, the mail-in ballots had to be in, postmarked by the 3rd of November, which was election day on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And it just seems as though that's not the case in a lot of these places, because when we went to bed 1 a.m. on election night here on the West Coast, Trump was up. Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan. Mm-hmm. I wake up, it's like 7 a.m. here, and he's down in Michigan
just like
and Wisconsin. And then you hear things like, all of a sudden, there was a new drop of votes overnight, 4 a.m., where Michigan got 38,000 Biden votes and not one for Trump. Now, I saw stuff, to be fair, I saw stuff online saying that was debunked, but there wasn't really information explaining how it was debunked, right? There was also another 65,000 that were dumped in Wisconsin overnight at about the same time. And again, you wake up and Trump is losing.
Yeah. It's like they dump it from a dumpster into the facility. Like I want to see the video of this.
And how is it that they're still counting in North Carolina and Georgia, which were Republican strongholds?
Yes.
This pertains to president.
Yes.
They're still counting, and they're still counting. Trump is in the lead by a lot. And somehow they still are finding votes. How is that even possible?
Hey, let's find a mail-in vote and mail it in and see if they gets counted. We should do that.
Dude, to sum this up, the level of insanity here that's going on before our very eyes is insane. And I want to say this about the ballots and voter suppression and what have you. And I think the president's right. Some degree, voter suppression with the polls that came out, one of which, president's down by 17 points in Wisconsin, which was all BS.
Right.
And if you're someone who sees that, you're like, well, I don't want to vote. It's not going to do anything. Down by 17 points. There's no point. On the flip side of things, I understand the folks that cannot on a Tuesday, they can't get to a polling center or a precinct, a polling place. They can't get there because I'm working like a 12-hour shift.
Mm-hmm.
It's open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Like I understand that. There's also absentee ballots, which you can get very easily. So my point is, Chuck, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, if you're not smart enough to figure out how to vote on the day of the election or obtain an absentee ballot,
why are you voting?
You should be allowed to vote.
Why are you voting? Why are you voting? I don't know. And I early voted. My wife and I, we early voted. It was not a problem. It took 5 minutes, and just so we won't be standing in line for an hour on November 3rd. Let's go and early vote.
It's not hard. But yet people think, there's voter suppression. Why do you think that they think there's so much voter suppression? Or is it all a big myth?
I think for the most part it's a big myth. But obviously there are some situations that can have people suppressed and maybe not get to the polls. Situations. I just don't think the situation is bigger to make it.
Well, that's why you get an absentee ballot.
Yeah, and I don't.
And if you know anything about politics, and you're informed, which you hope that there's informed voters one way or another, you just hope that you're informed, right? Yeah. If you're not informed at all,
shame on you.
Why should we mail out millions of ballots, which they did in many states, like in California? I've heard stories of people getting ballots for their parents who'd been passed away for, almost a decade. And you're hearing stories of this all over the country. I heard one story, dude received 18 ballots.
Damn.
There's also stories coming out that the Chinese are sending over super fake IDs for people en masse.
I'm not surprised.
Trump has this amount of votes. Why do you think they delayed it? And I need to make these points. Again, imagine if we're playing a football game. Your team, my team. Mm-hmm. My team's up by 30 points. Let's say your team's up by 30 points. We play the full 4 quarters, right? It's 30-0. But then it says, nah, we need to keep going. And we're going to play another 4 quarters and maybe some more. It just depends. And on top of that, here's what's great. We're going to be on offense the entire time. That's what this is like, to use a sports analogy. The game's over, yet you're still finding a way to play, and I'm not able to score. You're on offense. I'm on defense the whole time. And you're going to keep staying on offense until you figure out a way to win. That's kind of what it's like to me.
Yeah. They say the game is over when they say it's over, man.
Is it?
Whenever they decide the game's over, that's when they make sure the game's over. When they win, the game is over.
You're right. When they win, the game is over. So the
bullshit.
Communist states of America, the good news is that, I don't know, I haven't looked in a while, but it looked like before Republicans were going to keep the Senate, and they made major gains in the House.
Yeah. And
with that said, how does the president not win? How does the African American vote, the black vote, go up anywhere from 3 to 7 points?
Yep.
And not win? How does Trump win a Latino vote in Florida? 54%.
Crazy.
And not win? How does that happen? How is it plausible that shit happened? He was in a lead. And this is why they wanted I need to finish this, but this is why they wanted to extend it out. It's a football analogy. Okay. How many votes he got? Okay. Billy Bob, Jimmy, go over there, fill out like 10 more ballots, bring them over here, sign it like this, use this ID we got from China, and copy that signature, put it down right there, bring it back in, and we'll put that thing through.
Let's go. Oh yeah.
I'm sure there's an easy way to do it. Yeah. Plus, they weren't letting the Trump people in watching a ballot count. They had to stay away, whether it's from COVID or they removed them.
I heard that.
Now, there's also this. I'm going to read this too. I haven't heard anything more about it, but this is from the Washington Times. Let's see if I can find it. Washington Times. Here we go. AG Barr issued a directive to all U.S. attorneys to use armed federal agents to enforce court orders and investigate voter fraud at ballot counting centers. Armed agents have never been used before.
That's crazy.
This is according to...
I've seen that. I read that as well.
I didn't make this up. Now, is that happening? I don't know. Look, this is what we say here on this show. Question everything.
Oh, everything.
Question everything. Does any of this make sense with the vote? Let's extend it out. We're just going to keep extending it until we win. It's a football analogy. We're just going to keep playing until I win. You're on defense. I'm always on offense. I don't care if you're up 30 points. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm on offense in perpetuity. You're on defense. And we're going to keep scoring until I win. Is that good? You good with that?
No.
The courts said it's good. Although the law technically doesn't say that. The legislature doesn't say that. Supreme Court hasn't necessarily said that. We're just going to keep going. Oh, Trump's up this many. How many more votes we need? Hey, how many more votes we need? 4 million. Don't worry about it. We got it.
We got that.
We got it.
It's a shame.
Checking.
It's a damn shame.
I guess I probably need to connect chats. I just got a text about you need to engage with the chats. I'm like, I'm not seeing them.
Oh, I don't see them either.
I'm not seeing them. Are you able to see that?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the first time us going live. If you guys have any comments, please send them over. I don't know who the hell was on here, but there's a lot more we could get into. Chuck, I know you got to go. The Yuri video, we have that up. That was part of episode 5, as it pertains to being brainwashed by the communists. And some of you are there, some of you are not. But if you don't think there's some shady shit going on with this election,
shame on you.
I'm not gonna say shit. I don't like the shame thing.
Okay.
That's just not me. My thing, and I don't blame you for saying that, but my thing is more open your eyes and dig deeper. Dig deeper. If it smells like a rat, it might be a rat. George W. Bush. Did he say that? I don't know. I may have made it up.
Yeah, I think he did.
None of this makes sense. Use the football analogy, and maybe that'll add up for you. Maybe that'll add up. Or maybe everyone just hates Donald Trump. No, if you just look at the momentum. I need to make this last thing about California. All I saw was Trump supporters. That's all I saw over the last few months. That's all I freaking saw were Trump supporters everywhere. Trump rallies, Trump flags, this, that, canopies, all over the place, right? I saw maybe like 2 Biden flags. If you just look at the momentum thing, going back to sports momentum, all the rallies Trump was having with thousands of people, Biden had like 6 cars and they would honk and it'd be like a Prius or some shit. Beep, 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 beep. And by the way, there's only 2 types of Prius drivers. I don't mean to be an asshole, but I am. 2 types of Prius drivers. One that's going super fast and one that's going super slow. Figure it out. That's all I'm saying. Figure that shit out. Okay.
Nothing in
I don't mind you saving the gas mileage. You think it's eco-friendly. It's not. Look how much the electric or the batteries cost to make and what they have to use, which is fossil fuel. Just a little FYI. Michael Moore found that out this past year. I didn't know how much energy it took from fossil fuel to make battery powered cars. Oh, thanks, Michael Moore, for joining reality. And I hope the rest of you can maybe start to look at this, open up your eyes, like open up something in here. There's some crazy shit going on that we need to figure out, because right now we're in an upside down world. And there's no goddamn way in hell that Joe Biden could ever beat Donald Trump in a fair election. And I know I said nothing's fair in this world, because it's not. It's just fucked up. And what are you going to tell your kids? You work hard, you do this, you do that. You try and get ahead. You try and be a good person. And don't cheat. I hope it's proven. I don't know if any of this shit's going to be proven.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah.
With that said, Chuck, I know you got to run. We got to get going. We will see everyone next time on the Always Offended podcast. For at Philadelphia 19, Mother Chucker.
Yes, sir.
Or at West Coast Sicilian, Matt, as my brother would say, Matt the Rat.
Matt the Rat. Oh, damn.
My older brother. You know how it goes.
Oh yeah.
Matt.
Oh, yeah.
And then he'd beat you up, your daily beatings, that type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I got older. And then we made it fun, and we had some good tilts, right?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
point of being brothers. So for Chuck, for Matt, at Philadelphia, at West Coast Sicilian, we will see you later. Have a good night. Woo!